Councillors, officers and members of the public, welcome to the 1st of May 2024 Ordinary Meeting of Council. I will now open the meeting with the first item on this evening's agenda, the reading of the prayer. Almighty God, be with us as we work for the people of the Shire of Moorabool. Grant us wisdom that we may care for the Shire as true stewards of your creation. May we be aware of the great responsibilities placed upon us. Help us to be just in all our dealings, and may our work prosper for the good of all. Amen. I will now read the Acknowledgement of Country. I acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we are meeting. I pay my respects to their elders, past and present, and the Aboriginal elders of other communities who may be here today. Item 3, recording of minutes. In accordance with Moorabool Shire Council's governance rules, the Council will be recording and live streaming this meeting. The Moorabool News and Star Weekly have also been granted permission to record this meeting. Items 4 and 5, present and apologies. We have all councillors in attendance with Councillor Ward online. Item 6, confirmation of minutes. Councillors, we have minutes from the 3rd of April 2024 Ordinary Meeting of Council to be confirmed. Do I have a councillor to move the minutes to be confirmed? Councillor Berry, thank you. A seconder. Councillor Sullivan. Any dissent? All those in favour? Carried. Item 7, disclosure of conflicts of interest. Does any councillor have a conflict of interest to declare? No? We'll move on. Item 8, public question time. There are no public questions in this evening's meeting. Item 9, petitions. We have one petition report to consider. Item 9.1, speed limit reduction of Balan Edgerton Road, Mount Edgerton. Thank you, Councillor Sullivan. You have moved it. Seconded by Councillor Edwards. Do I have any dissent? No. All those in favour? Carried. Item 10, presentations and deputations. There are no presentations or deputations listed in this evening's agenda. Item 11, Chief Executive Officer reports. Councillors, we have item 11.1, revocation of election caretaker policy 2019. Do I have a councillor to move the recommendation outlined in the agenda? Thank you, Councillor Dudzik. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Edwards. Do I have any dissent? All those in favour? Carried. The next report is item 11.2, proposed renaming part of Bacchus Street, Madingley, commemorating the Stewart family. Do I have a councillor to move the recommendation outlined in the agenda?
I'll move
Councillor Edwards.
Recommendation that a further report be brought back to council after investigation of the initiating request to close Bacchus Street.
Governance, you have that? Yes. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Berry?
Happy to second that.
Thank you. Any dissent? All those in favour? Carried. Thank you, Councillor Edwards. Councillors, we will now move to community strengthening reports. Item 12.1, advisory committees of council reports. Do I have a councillor to move the recommendation outlined in the agenda?
The recommendation with a question, Madam Mayor, if I may.
Yes, Councillor Sullivan.
My question relates to page 21 of the attachments, where this is an advisory committee, but item 4, it refers to engages 2 people to deliver 12 sculptures. If it's an advisory group, they don't sort of make financial decisions, do they, or do they not? So I'm just curious as to whether that an advisory group, in my understanding, doesn't sort of make financial decisions, and this would have financial decisions.
Thank you, Councillor Sullivan. I will pass to the CEO. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I will double check that, but that would be correct. That would be a decision that would have to come back to the officers if it's within our delegation, and if it's not within our delegation, would go to council.
Okay.
So
I would move it with that additional consideration that the CEO has just undertaken to do.
Thank you, Councillor Sullivan. Yes, Councillor Dudzik.
I'll second it, but I also want to make the comment that I did attend one of their first meetings, and that meeting that I attended. I was told that a grant had already been funded and that they had money available for sculptures. So I don't think they're actually approving funding. I think that the funding was probably already approved because that's what was said when I attended. It would probably just be whatever submissions were made.
Okay.
That will be teased out in the CEO's response.
Exactly.
No doubt. Thank you, Councillor.
So you're seconding, Councillor Dudzik. Do I have any dissent? All those in favour? Carried. Councillors, will now move to Customer and Corporate Services Reports, item 13.1, Customer Experience Strategy Review 2024. Do I have a councillor to move the recommendation outlined in the agenda tonight? Councillor Berry, thank you. And do I have a seconder? Councillor Edwards. Do I have any dissent? All those in favour? Carried. The next report is item 13.2, consideration of the proposed 2024-2025 annual budget. Do I have a councillor to move the recommendation outlined in the agenda? Councillor Edwards, you're moving. Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Dudzik. Any dissent?
I have a question, Madam Mayor.
Yes, Councillor Sullivan.
This draft update we've got, does that have any impact on what's before us now?
Mr CEO.
Not in a financial sense. It's actually some word clarification, and in addition to that, it's some clauses that were included in the budget document as such in relating to the potential leasing arrangements that might happen going forward.
So it has nothing to do with the budget?
No, it's part of the advertising process, so it's just in there. Yes.
Yeah. And second question, if I may. So we are not proceeding with the municipal charge, is that correct?
That's correct.
When was that decision made?
The decision not to proceed with a municipal charge, and we've brought the reports back to council. Without a direction to include a municipal charge, the draft budget as such is based upon the last draft that was taken to council as part of the briefings.
Council meeting?
Yeah. A council briefing, so
Which makes no decisions.
Which makes no decision, so there was no decision for a municipal charge and there was no decision for changes.
All right. So I have a mover and a seconder. Do I have any dissent? Councillor Sullivan.
Yes.
And I will open the debate. Councillor Edwards.
Yep, this is going out for public consultation. It's a good draft, it's fair, it's reasonable, it's pretty benign. It's actually just about implementing things that we've agreed to over the last 4 years. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Councillor Edwards. As the opposing, Councillor Sullivan.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I understand it's going out for consultation, that's the normal process on it, but I don't think the council itself made a decision not to proceed with the municipal charge. I mean, basically what we're saying by default, that's where we've arisen, but I don't agree with it, and I think it's something that wasn't canvassed thoroughly. I know it's something I feel strongly about. We do need to have that in place to dampen extremes, and I think with that not being part of it, I can't support it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Sullivan. Councillor Dudzik, would you like to speak?
I'd first like to thank the council officers for all the work that's gone into preparing the budget. It's a complex task and it takes considerable time, and we've had considerable meetings to discuss all aspects of the budget, so thank you very much for your efforts. In respects to the municipal charge, that's actually determined in the rating review strategy, which we've actually done quite a number of times previously in the council, and it previously hasn't been approved, and so that's why it wouldn't be in the budget. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Dudzik. Would any other councillor like to speak? Councillor Tatchell.
Well, I suppose this brings up the question on briefings, really, doesn't it? That it appears that we are making decisions at briefings. If consultation's about putting everything out there, regardless of whether people agree with it or not, this is about what the public think of the budget, and that includes how the budget's made up. And it's no secret that the next council's going to be under enormous fiscal pressure in terms of the budget compared to last year's and the years before. So, from the point of view of consultation, though, I think all options should go out. I don't accept that a rating strategy should be part of that. What I do accept is that people are entitled, considering they pay the bill, we work for those people, that they're entitled to know exactly what is on the table, how it's manufactured and how it works. And I'd just like to add this as well, that rural Victoria is showing negative growth at the moment. In terms of housing, though, it's negative on the basis that it's 1.9 points behind CPI. And yet we continue to argue the point that CPI is the accepted tool for managing the revenue increases in local government. And yet the basket of goodies that makes up CPI has absolutely no relevance to a rural budget or to rural properties. And yet we clearly say in the budget that we're doing it in line with CPI, we're doing it in line with that expectation from government under the Fair Go rate system. But I think we need to be a little bit more honest about what we actually do. If the real number in country Victoria is 1%, we can hardly rely on CPI at 2.9. It doesn't make economic sense, and it certainly puts rural people at a disadvantage because you're making a blanket decision that is completely different to what city people deal with. So, whilst I understand Councillor Dudzik's view on the rate consultation, the rate review, I don't think it's relevant when it comes to consultation. I think consultation is about letting people know exactly how the money is raised and where it's spent. If we leave bits of that, the mechanics of that out, it's bound to cause some problems. So that's my view. So
Thank you, Councillor.
Back Councillor Sullivan. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Tatchell. Is there any other councillors that would like to speak? No. Okay, Councillor Edwards, would you like to close the debate?
Yes, certainly, Madam Mayor. Let's be very clear that no decisions are made at council briefing sessions. In fact, this is a council recommendation not to include a municipal charge, which is out for consultation, and people have the opportunity to come back and say they would like a municipal charge. And I'll just note that we will hear all those submissions at a special meeting of council on Wednesday the 12th of June, and people are more than welcome to come along and have their say. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Edwards. I will now put the motion to a vote. All those in favour? All those against? It is carried. Item 13.3, consideration of the Council Plan 2021-2025-2024 update. Do I have a councillor to move the recommendation outlined in the paper? Thank you, Councillor Dudzik. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Edwards. Any dissent? No. All those in favour? Carried. Councillors, we will now move on to Community Planning and Development Reports, item 14.1, Draft Heritage Strategy 2024 to 2028. Do I have a councillor to move the recommendation outlined in the agenda tonight? Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Sullivan. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Berry, thank you. Any dissent? All those in favour? Carried. Item 15, other reports. There are no other reports listed in the agenda tonight. Item 16 is notice of motion. We have one notice of motion on the agenda. 16.1, notice of motion, Moorabool Shire's future involvement in the Committee for Ballarat. Councillors, you have a recommendation in the papers before you regarding the report. Do I have a councillor to move the recommendation?
I would move the recommendation that is on the business paper there. I think it's self-explanatory, so I would move it and recommend it to my fellow councillors.
Thank you, Councillor
I'm
Sullivan.
happy to second it.
Thank you, Councillor Dudzik. Do I have any dissent? All those in favour? Carried. Item 17, notices of rescission. There are no notices of rescission listed in the agenda. Item 18, Mayor's report. Councillors, you have a recommendation. Do I have a councillor to move The Mayor's report. Thank you, Councillor Berry. Thank you, Councillor Edwards. Do I have any dissent? All those in favour? Carried. Item 19, Councillors' reports. I will go around the room. Councillor Sullivan, do you have any reports? Thank you.
Two matters to report, Madam Mayor. On Saturday the 17th of April, along with yourself and Councillor Berry, we attended the Bungaree Oval upgrade opening, which is a fantastic event. And on Anzac Day, along with fellow councillors, I actually attended the commemorations at Navigators, Bungaree, Lau and Balan. And what I was impressed by, the number of young people who were in attendance. I think it was fantastic to see so many young people become involved in the history of this country and understand the sacrifice that others have given that we can actually remain a free country. So I think it was just heartening to see so many young people there. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Sullivan. Councillor Tatchell.
Nothing to report, Madam
Thank you.
Chair.
Councillor Ward.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Nothing to report, but I would ask just to let the minutes of this meeting show that unfortunately there's a 2 or 3 second lag, that I did vote against the decision to prepare a report to withdraw from the Committee of Ballarat. If you look at the footage of the meeting, you'll see that my hand went up just before the vote because I did vote against it. But obviously the motion's been passed, so that's fine.
Okay, governance will check that out. I know there is a bit of a lag. Thank you, Councillor Ward, for noting that. Councillor Berry.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Like Councillor Sullivan and Mayor Ali Minari, attended the 13th of April, on the 13th of April, Saturday, attended the Bungaree Football Netball Oval redevelopment grand opening. It looks fantastic, certainly is a swish club up that end of our shire. On the 25th of April, attended the Anzac Day dawn service at Bacchus Marsh. Not quite sure how many people were there, but like Councillor Sullivan announced also, the amount of children that are attending these services is just off the charts. I've got different conversations around how many people actually attended Bacchus Marsh. Some say it was about 2,000, some say it was 4,000, so I'm not quite sure, but it was very busy and nice to see so many there with so many children. And then I did the walk from the Bacchus Marsh Hospital with the RSL, with all those ex-servicemen and families there wearing medals so proudly that some of their family members had served, somebody in a wheelchair, which was fantastic. So we ended up at the Bacchus Marsh RSL. Then at midday, I attended the Comida Anzac Day service, about 100 people out there, which is fantastic. And again, many more children. The Comida Primary School children were there laying their wreaths that they had actually made themselves. So a good day all around on the 25th of April this year. On the 29th of May at 6:30, attended Bacchus Marsh Library information delivered by the Australian Drug Foundation, delivered by Youth Services. I must commend them on this. I learnt a lot about alcohol. Maybe I won't choose to drink any more in my life. I'm not quite sure. It was very interesting and to know, what it actually does to your brain and the future. It was quite an interesting talk, and it was attended by a few. Would have been nice to see a few more locals there. I think I did see it in the paper, but I don't know. The message was so good, I think, for young people. It would have been great to see a few more young people there from the Shire. That's all from me, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Berry. Councillor Dudzik.
I have nothing to report. I've been unwell, so I haven't been able to do things.
Thank you, Councillor Dudzik. Councillor Edwards.
I have nothing to report.
Okay, it's all good. Thank you. Councillors, can I have a councillor to move that we receive the councillors' reports? Thank you, Councillor Edwards. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Ward? Any dissent? No. All those in favour? Thank you. Carried. We'll move to urgent business, and I'll go around the room again. Councillor Sullivan.
No urgent business, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Tatchell.
Thanks, Madam Chair. My urgent business, I want a ruling on Councillor Ward had a legitimate complaint that he wasn't given the ability to object, and I think we need a ruling on that. I think it becomes a real problem. I mean, we introduced this do it online thing, and if we've got a problem with delays and a decision's been made where somebody's been left out of that decision-making process, we need a ruling on it.
There will be an investigation into that. Governance will handle that tonight. Thank you.
With respect, Madam Mayor, that doesn't resolve the problem. We've passed a motion to have something inspected, and somebody's been left out of that argument when we're still here. It doesn't need an investigation because the investigation is the complaint.
My question is to Councillor Ward. Councillor Ward, do you have a complaint, and would you like to... Do you have a complaint on this matter?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Look, to be honest, the vote was overwhelmingly in favour of the notice of motion, so I just wanted the records to show that I felt that I wanted to vote against it because I don't think it's in Mirrabul Shire's best interest to withdraw from the Committee of Ballarat. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ward, and I'm grateful that you mentioned it in your report, so it was noted, and governance will also look into it as well. Yes, Councillor Tatchell.
I'll make a point of order on that. I mean, the whole premise of debate is to change people's views. If that ability is taken away and we just accept that whatever the vote was without the debate or without the discussion, it's missing a key component to
Councillor Ward is happy with...
I don't care what Councillor Ward thinks.
Mr CEO.
I'll talk about protocols.
Through the chair, the protocols were in line. What the lag has done is because when we actually done the count, the count was done based on the information that was active at that moment in time with the room. Obviously, there has been a lag in the transmission, and so from a organisational point of view, we have done the right thing. We will record it. That there was a lag, we will look into it, because I have to admit I wasn't looking at the screen, so I didn't see the lag with Councillor Ward putting his hand up. But the reality is, when somebody's halfway around the world and there are time lags, and maybe it is a lesson that when somebody is online, that we slow it down as such. But we've never had this before, where we've encountered a lag of seconds. Usually it's milliseconds is what we're dealing with. So from a governance point of view, we will look into that, but the item was counted and it has passed.
Thank you, Mr CEO. And I will note that when I did look up at the screen, that was when I said all those in favour, and I saw Councillor Ward's hand as all those in favour. And obviously with the delay, there was that confusion. So thank you. We will move on to Councillor Berry. Did you have any urgent business, Councillor Berry?
No urgent business, thank you, Madam Mayor.
Councillor Dudzik?
No urgent business, thank you.
Councillor Edwards? Okay, we'll move on. Councillors, we have one report to be considered in a closed session of the meeting for the public this evening. So I will get a councillor to move that we move into closed session. Thank you, Councillor Berry, seconded by Councillor Edwards. All those in favour? Carried. Thank you.